If you want to be rich, you need to look poor. Here's 5 reasons why looking poor is important. Reason number one, different classes perceive money differently. So lower class, they mainly use money to pay bills, utility bills, insurance, buying food, buying all the essentials to keep them alive, maybe living from paycheck to paycheck, because at the end of the month, the lower class typically don't save any money, right? Second class is the middle class. The middle class use money for comfort. They can use the money to go out and buy a brand new Toyota, a brand new Honda, and it's really comfortable, nice, smells good, and sits. It gets you from point to A to point B very comfortably. Or maybe they can turn the AC down to maybe 72 on the hot summer day to keep them comfortable in the house. And then the last one is the wealthy class. They use money as a tool. What do I mean by tool? They use money to buy properties for rental investment, to buy stock, to put it in high yield savings account. So I'm gonna talk about all three. Okay, properties. If you wanna buy a house, you need at least maybe 30 or 40,000 as a down payment. That's what my brother did. He saved up money and he bought 3 houses, and 3 houses giving about $3,000 to $4,000 monthly in income, passive income, which is nice. And then buying stocks, like wealthy people, they can buy stocks like Google, Apple, or Microsoft and hold it for 10 years. That is a great wealth generator, right? You put 1,000 in there, and 10 years later, if you buy Apple, it will worth around $100,000. It can give you massive returns. And last thing is putting it in a high yield savings account. So there's a lot of high yield savings account like Robinhood. They're not technically a savings account, but they have a checkings account where they give you 5% interest rate, right? If you put 100,000 in there, each month you get about $416. So technically, you're making money go work for you. You don't work for the money anymore. So the wealthy, they use money as a tool to generate new money, like whether it's buying property, whether it's buying houses or a stock, or putting it in a high yield interest occurring recurring accounts, right? So it and they live even more comfortable than the middle class because they don't really need to work hard for the money, so they have more time to spend time doing what they enjoy, whether it's playing golf or spending time with their grandchildren, right? And reason number two, you want to look poor is try to look rich can get very expensive. There's a study showing that if you live in a wealthy neighborhood, right, and your neighbor just got the nicest Corvette, right, it's cost like $70,000, and you recently just bought a Honda for maybe like $30,000. So you feel like you're competing with the neighbor with the best things that they had. So then you decide to like sell the Honda and buy a Corvette. And $70,000 Corvette, right? You compare to a Honda, right? Honda, you probably cost about like $80 for insurance. For a Corvette, 200 to 300 for insurance. That's like 4 times more insurance you pay monthly just to keep up with your neighbor. And this is something known as keep up with the Joneses, right? So if you live in a wealthy neighborhood and you saw your neighbor wear like Gucci clothes one day, you want to buy Gucci clothes. You don't want to buy this like a shirt from Old Navy for $4 or $6. You want to buy the Gucci clothes for $600. Technically, wearing it don't really make you live better, right? Rich people, like richest people in the world, like Mark Zuckerberg, right? He just wear a plain gray T-shirt. Warren Buffett, right? He still live in the house that he bought in 1958, right? They are the billionaires. They can afford a $2 million or $5 million or $50 million house, but they choose to live in a more frugal lifestyle because they don't want to think about it. They don't want to compete with others, like who got the biggest, best, best jewelries, right? The rappers, they will compete with each other, like with who have the best chains in the industry. But billionaires, they don't really care about that. They just wanna make money, put it in a high yield savings account, or put it in the checkings account, or buy stock. They like to use it as a tool, right? If you don't have the money, how do you use it to buy what do you use to buy stocks or house, right? So that's the reason you don't want to look rich. If you look rich, you don't have money to buy stocks anymore. You don't have money to save up to buy a house, down payment of a house, right? The Gucci shirts or jackets can cost one jacket can cost $1,200 to $2,000. You get like 10 jackets. That's a down payment of a house, $100,000 house. That's how important it is to look poor. And reason number 3, illusion of wealth. A lot of people, they can't afford things that they cannot afford, and they love to go into debt. So give you examples like the Tesla Cybertruck, right? $100,000. If you're making a household income of $70,000 to $60,000 per year, and you decide to get $100,000 truck, you are taking out a loan, right? My philosophy is, if you have to take out a loan to buy a car, you probably cannot afford it. Like if you're making like $90,000, maybe you can like buy a $30,000 to $40,000 car, which is really nice. Buy $100,000 car while you make about 60,000 per year or 70,000 per year, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Why you gonna be in a lot of trouble? Well, economy might go into recession, right? You might lose your job, but you still gotta feed your family. You still got a mortgage. On top of that, $100,000 car, you're paying around 1,200, 1,300 just on the car payment, not including insurance. Insurance is gonna cost you $300 just on the Cybertruck. So if you drive a Cybertruck because you saw celebrities drive it like Justin Bieber, or Kanye West, they have money, right? They can afford it outright without taking a loan. Taking out a loan to buy a car is a bit crazy too, because you are paying actually 6% on interest rate. So at the end, you're paying extra 6,000 on top of $100,000. Think about that. So illusion of looking wealthy can cost you a lot of money. And reason number 4 to look poor is the power of living below your means can save you tremendous amount of wealth. Going out to eat, $10, at least $15, depends on where you live. If you live in New York, $20. But if you live more in the southern state like Arkansas or Alabama or Missouri, it's still gonna cost you at least $12 to $13 per meal. Compare that to meal prepping, right? Last night I made roast pork, right, with potato, carrot, and a big old roast pork. Smells amazing, tastes amazing. I bought the roast pork for $10, and it can feed me 5 times, and each time it only costs $2. So one time meal prepping can give me a cost per unit is $2 compared to going out to eat is $12. If you get a drink or something, a leave tip is $15. $15, you can use that to buy a whole high quality meal, and you eat it for 5 times. And that's a huge money saver, right? Living below your means. You don't want to go out to eat on every single day, right? You don't want to like try to save to the point where you are not enjoying your life anymore, right? Every Friday and Saturday, I would like to go out and eat once. I'm not going out to eat like a super fancy place, right? I try to go out to eat that is not really exaggerating or going above what I earn. Usually, I just go to KFC and they have the $5 deal where you get 2-piece chicken, mashed potato, and a drink. Mashed potato in a biscuit. I love the biscuit with the honey and butter. Spot on. And I don't really get a drink because $5 is pretty good, pretty expensive already for me, right? I am like pretty a frugal guy. But only time I get a drink is because sometimes they offer a drink and as a coupon. That's when I get a drink. So this coming week they offer another medium beverage for free, and it's $5. So that's not gonna break my bank. I can go out and enjoy a nice meal in a restaurant. That's why I call it a nice meal. You might be debating it's a nice meal or not, but for me, it's a nice meal because I don't have to cook. It's freshly made, and I love the biscuit and gravy. Right? I go there and get their food. Sometimes I'll go to Chipotle. It's $10. Not too bad. It's very healthy and tastes really good. But I don't go out more than twice a week, right? Because twice a week it will cost me already $20, right? But if I go like more than twice, if they go to like a Chinese buffet, it probably costs $15 to $16. Depends on like if you get drink or not, and then leave a tip. So I always try to like make my life enjoyable, but at the same time, trying to live below my means. Another one is coffee. Making coffee at home, right? Going to Starbucks, it costs you $5 to $6 to buy what kind of a drink. Making a coffee at home costs 50 cents. $5 to $6 a day for 30 days costs about $200 just on coffee. Imagine that. Making it at home $10 per month. That's living below your means, right? And another thing is I like to shop at like buying clothes at affordable places. So this one, for example, I bought it at Old Navy, right? For I think it was on the clearance section for like $5. Yes, I don't need to buy $30 from Abercrombie or Fetch and H&M. These are a little bit pricier, but these just as good quality as any other shirt, and it will last me for many years, right? I am not trying to impress anybody with these. Living below my means, I save the money, put it in Robinhood, put it open a CD, buying some stock, and putting it on a property. These will help me in the long run. These will really give me set up for generational wealth. And that brings me to fifth reason. Embracing of looking poor philosophy will create generational wealth for your children and for your family. This is the most powerful one, right? Because if you decide to buy like $1,000 in Apple, right, or in Tesla, you invested $1,000 in Tesla 10 years ago. Right now, you're worth $90,000. That is generational wealth. If you buy property right now for $230,000 maybe, and you know the property usually goes up a lot. My parents, they bought a house for $140,000 back in 2004 and maybe like 2014. 10 years later, that house is worth $300,000. That is generational wealth for me and my children. That will create generational wealth, not just for yourself, but for all the people around you. That is why it's so important, right? To start saving money, live frugal, be smart about the money, right? I didn't make a bad choice about purchasing. I purchased a Tesla Model Y, thinking that the electric it saved me on gas, right? I won't say like it's bad purchase. I would say it's very costly because the insurance. I didn't calculate the insurance, which is $200, and that basically kind of equals out on the money I save from gas. Cause when I was driving Toyota, I only pay like maybe $80, but Tesla Model Y is a lot more expensive, so it goes out to like $200. And you know the electricity is cheaper, but you end up paying more on insurance. So the math didn't really work out that well, but at the end I am happy with it because I did use it to do like Uber deliveries and Lyft deliveries. Save me money on the on insurance and gas, right? Because gas is so much cheaper, so I decided to use that to generate money. And Tesla usually they will last 300,000 miles, so 30 years. That car can go to my son or my daughter, and they can drive it. And it's a fancy car. I love it. And this is kind of like generational wealth, right? You pass something down that is super nice. And you buy a house, right? If you want to buy a house for your granddaughters, your daughters, and your granddaughters, for a savings account, for, or maybe try to do a savings account for them to do college, you need that money. That's what. How do you get that money to like buy a house with down payment? Meal prepping, going to like affordable house, affordable clothing stores. You don't need the fanciest clothes, right? And living in the neighborhood that's middle class. You don't need to compete with everybody in your circle to look wealthy. All you need to do is to look decent. Look, you a clean person that takes shower every day and smells good, smell decent. That's all you need to do. You don't need to look homeless. You just need to look decent. And by being decent, meaning you can go into like a bank, open a checking account or savings account. You can go to a restaurant. People don't think you're homeless and stuff. That's all you need, and that will generate a lot of wealth, right? A lot of wealth for you to buy a house, for you to put it in a high yield savings account, or for you to buy stock, right? And this money could change someone's life, could change your life. But you gotta spend time. You gotta spend a lot of time thinking about what ways you can cut down on expense. That's another thing. Look at all the expense. I did it with my girlfriend. Look at all the expense and see what you can cut back. She is paying like $100 on T-Mobile. I'm paying $20 on my cell phone, right? I don't need the latest phone. Right now, I'm using a iPhone XR. It works just fine, right? I still have my Uber open, right? It works just fine to use to deliver, use Tesla to deliver the orders. Work just fine. You don't need the latest phone. I need it just to call and look at the messages. That's all I needed. You don't need the latest phones, right? And I promise you, just try it. Just use it. Stuff that is good enough that make your life comfortable, and you will notice. I promise you will notice that you save a lot more money each month by cutting down on unnecessary things. My girlfriend also cut down on like watching TV. Right, we don't need any cable TVs that cost $100. We just use Roku channel, and these are all the stuff that I need. I just watch YouTube with ads and Spotify. I don't need like a subscription. I just watch some ads. That's fine. That save me $13. That adds up. Each month we can save about 2 to 3 thousand per month, and after a year we can use that to buy beautiful house. That's the philosophy of looking poor. It is so important to look poor, cause it will create generational wealth for you and your family.